How are you doing, sir?
Oh, what a treat for me to be here with you.
Oh, I bet.
You have air conditioning and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not cold outside at all.
No,
I was misinformed.
How? Isn't it the most unbelievable heat in the entire world, South Florida?
You know what? It's actually cooler on the sun. I don't know if I have a summer house on the sun, and it is much more...
It's more enjoyable.
More humanitarian.
Yeah, you know, it is so great to have you in here. One of the things, you know, as we go into Father's Day weekend.
Yes.
For me and my dad, one of the shows and one of the things that we really connected with and bonded on was we were both huge fans of Mad About You, and we always watched that. And my dad would always call, and for the whole week we would, you know, quote lines that you guys had on the show, and
that's so nice.
You know, what a fantastic run that you had with that.
That was a fun. You know what? We did 7 years, which I was about to say we didn't realize at the time what a rarity that is, but we did. We were always every year going, oh my gosh, we get to do this, and you know, it is rare for a show to last that long and to get to do what you want to do and to do it well, and you know, we got off before we started not enjoying it and not doing good shows. So I'm very proud of those shows, and it's always nice, you know. And now I'm out doing stand-up, which I hadn't been for years, and one of the real pluses, which I didn't anticipate, is just chatting with people after the show, and people have memories of the show, and you know, like that. And everyone's always these stories like this episode, and my husband and I were having a fight, and then we saw this episode. I was like, oh wow, I didn't, you know.
What is the one
that?
Because for me, the one that my dad still will talk about is the one where they lost the dog in the park, and and they're going on looking for that. My dad still calls and quotes on that. Is there one episode from Mad About You that you hear the most about?
I remember that one joke from that show where my cousin Ira, played by Johnny Panko,
it was
looking
great
for the dog Murray, and he's in the park, and he goes, Murray! And a guy goes, what? And he goes, beat. Murray the dog!
That is the joke he always calls me about.
Not Murray the person.
He was like a homeless guy.
Murray the dog. and there's a guy in New York named Murray sitting in the park at night. We had, you know what, there's a lot of favorites, but one of my favorites was, there was one we did either last or second to last year with the baby, and where we're trying to get her to sleep by herself.
Right.
So we do that thing where you don't go in and you let her be alone, let her cry for 2 minutes, then you go in for 30 seconds, and there's like some doctor format. And the thrill of that one was that we did it live. It wasn't broadcast live, but we did it in one take. There was no cuts and one camera. So it was like a play. You couldn't make a mistake. You had to go all the way through, and there were no cuts in the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
And that was just fun to do, and we always wanted to do that from the very beginning. We said, let's do one where it's just one locked off shot and just talking, but we couldn't think what's interesting enough to hold for half an hour. And finally, we came up with this story where we we're sitting and talking amongst ourselves while we're watching the clock, and in the meanwhile, we're hearing our child suffer, and it was just this really strong parenting thing. So that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, you've had so many good moments, so many good shows. Oh, and I forgot, somebody reminded me, we were talking about the Hot TV Dads. I have to put you on the list. You're on My Two Dads.
There you go.
Love that show.
Look at you.
That was the first one.
You were children at the time, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I was. I was a kid, but I loved it. And
Did you?
I remember the concept. It was you and Greg Effigan.
Greg Effigan.
Yeah, was there with you. And you guys were both.
And the young girl is now 83 years old. I haven't seen her in a while, but I understand she's a grandmother of 9.
That's right.
Yeah, that was, yes. So it is Father's Day. There was, you know what, and I was just talking to somebody about this. They said, Father's Day movies, and I forgot that it's Father's related. But I did a movie after Mad About You was over. I did a movie that I wrote for Peter Falk, and it was Peter Falk and I.
Okay,
He played my father. And that was a very special movie for me, because it was something that I had been working on for years.
Yes.
And I had always, my father loved Peter Falk, and he was the only guy that would always consistently make him laugh. So I had this idea that I wanted something, Peter Falk, and I had this idea for a movie for years. And finally, I wrote it and gave it to Peter Falk, and he said, "Well, we got to go make this." And
That's
so
really good.
We went off and we made this
on.
movie, and it was a movie. It was sort of about my parents, or my perception of my parents and their relationship, but it was a road picture of Peter and of the father and son.
Yeah.
And It was called The Thing About My Folks. People should go watch it just to watch Peter. I think it was.
He was amazing. In fact, that's another one of my dad's favorites. He just loved Columbo and everything that Peter Falk had done.
I'll tell you, when we were doing that movie, everybody loves Peter Falk, and we would just go out, and it was like he was a rock star. Yeah, and women loved him, and he was a good-looking.
He got chicks, huh?
Oh, he got the chicks.
Wow,
full head of hair at 75.
Yeah, right.
And every guy, every cop, every fight. I remember we were going into we were shooting outside New York, and we were going through a tunnel to get into the city, and this young intern is driving us, this young kid, this young PA, and he did something you're not allowed to do. I can't even remember what it was. Some crazy New York rule where you can't have more, and it was in the wrong lane or something, and a cop pulled him over. And he was really upset, and Peter goes, "Yeah, roll down my window." and he says, "I go, officer, this is my fault. I'm terribly sorry." And he just totally let him in. I went, "Wow, it's like being with the Pope. You can do anything you want when you're with Peter Falk."
That's awesome.
What amazing story. I'm going to keep Paul Reiser here a little bit longer. We're going to push off the wild news a little bit because I want to talk.
News can wait. They'll always make more.
Who cares about that? Got to talk about Behind the Candelabra also.
Behind the Candelabra.
Yes, got to find out about that experience because that's one of the big hot shows that a lot of people have been talking about in the last week.
Yes.
So, and also Paul Reiser. We give it away tickets all day long. We'll tell you how to get him to see him this weekend in South Florida.